What's up, everyone? It's Adam and Mark here, coming at you talking about the Division beta.
We've put a good amount of hours into it, honestly, and it's only open for this weekend. So this is for the viewers who did not get to play it, or for those who played it and wanted to compare ideas, bounce around a bit, opinions, whatever. We'll start up with what we did like, and then we'll end off with what we didn't like, and then
Right.
maybe we'll come back around to see what we would like changed.
Yep. Sounds good. All right. So, first off, I really was impressed by the graphics of this game. As most of you probably know if you looked into the game, it is a one-to-one recreation of Manhattan, New York City, and it just looks gorgeous. It's a fantastic immersion aspect of the environment and everything you're in, the post-apocalyptic world and everything. It really felt like I was in New York City in that time zone and that time frame. So I really enjoyed that part of it.
Yeah, it looked beautiful. The sky looked beautiful. It was just a very very pretty game. It definitely immerses you in the experience a lot more.
Right, definitely. Next up, we like the controls a lot. I enjoyed the cover system as well. We'll get to that a little bit later, but a part of the controls was going from cover to cover. You have to hold down, for PS4, it's X, so you hold it down the whole time to run through to the next cover. You can switch your guns and with a normal triangle, of course, but there's a lot of different controls. The way you use your abilities, you hold down R1 or L1 to use different abilities, and I thought the controls were really fluid, and I learned them pretty quickly. They were good.
Pretty basic control scheme. It felt very fluent, and I don't know, it just felt really nice. I
Yeah,
agree with that. Next, we'll talk about the open world. It feels like Destiny. It it's not Destiny at all,
right.
but it definitely feels like Destiny, and that's a good thing. Destiny did a lot right with how
Hmm.
its gameplay was, how it had things, but it also did a ton wrong, which the Division can fix before it's released. Which it honestly looks in the beta that they are fixing it. The open world, it's a lot bigger than Destiny, because Destiny you had these like little areas, but you couldn't go past like a certain point. You'll just fall off the map. I have not experienced a point in this game yet. Of course, this is the beta, so there are like lines that say this is not accessible through the beta, but I've not fallen off the world yet, and
Right.
that is great.
Yeah, yeah, I enjoyed that, and having all the other players around you when you start a mission or something, having a higher level player come up and then help you out, it helps a lot. Especially in the beta, you start out really low. Of course, people who've already been in it, they can come in and help you out. But then at the same time, if you're doing a story mission and you start doing that, it's just for you. So the other players, they don't jump in. It's just your story mission. It's very similar to the Destiny mission style.
Yeah, which is really good. That, like I said, Destiny did a lot right, but this can make that experience better.
Right.
This is what the game can become into,
Hmm.
and the storyline is already 10 times better in Destiny. All right, let's be honest here. This is the last comparison I'll have with Destiny because they're two separate games, whatever.
Right.
But the storyline is looking very good, and this is just the beta, but it just looks very easy to comprehend, very easy to grow. You want to actually be this person. You want to actually build your little community,
Hmm.
and you want to actually help these people.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I like the cut scenes actually. They were done really well. The acting was nice. It was good. The whole story makes sense, There was some virus, a terrorist or a person who implemented a virus on the money during Black Friday and it spread and everyone was, dying and stuff like that. That was pretty new. I thought, it's terrorist attacks are nothing new within games, but that was unique. And coming to New York to rebuild it in this contaminated city is pretty cool. So I like the style and the storyline. All right, so the next part we really enjoyed. I like the menu a lot. It's very very different. So at first it was pretty overwhelming for me. There's a lot of stuff on the screen, but as you play for just a few hours, you really get used to it. Everything flows and makes sense. I'm pressing start to get to certain places and pressing the touchpad to get to the map and move around the map. And the map is very, very much immersive as well. It's just kind of a projection, which is really nice. And I moved around the menu pretty easily.
Yeah, and the HUD, the menu and the HUD, they fantastic job.
Right.
I love going up to a body, picking up an item, and then seeing on the back of my backpack while in the game, I could still be fighting and see how much I have left in my backpack. It tells me, hey, you have 6 items, you can only carry 32, whatever it is. I
Hmm.
don't remember the number off the top of my head, but it definitely feels so good to have that. Most games like this, you have to press start, you have to go through all your items, and be like, oh, I have this much. I don't want to do that. I want to continue exploring. I want to
Right.
continue. I want to go forward. I want to know how much more I can carry, and it's so good. I absolutely love that.
I know you enjoy the cover system a lot, so what do you think about that?
Cover system is the best cover system. I play a lot of third-person games, and with third-person games, the covering is basically everything because you're able to see over yourself. You're able that is how you get your advantage from the enemy. Is the cover system? This cover system is the best cover system I've ever played with, and like I said, I've played tons of third-person games, and you die super quickly. You get shot a few
Right.
times, and you have to get into cover, and then you're worried about your own safety. You're worried, am I gonna have to go all the way back? Am I gonna die? Am I gonna lose all this loot? Depending on where you are,
Hmm.
and you have to use your med packs. You have to pay attention to how many med packs you have. Can I? There's 10 enemies over there. There's 5 enemies over there. I
Right.
don't have any med packs. Can I fight this? Is there enough cover to fight this? I love it.
Yeah, yeah, that's an interesting point too, because in this game, most shooters these days have a aspect where your health regenerates. So really, you can just go hide, and your health's going to regenerate. But here, the health doesn't regenerate fully. It might, I think, it goes up just the very first bar
The
if you
bar,
get,
yeah.
yeah, really low. But besides that, you have to use a med pack to fill your health fully all the way back up. So that's a huge survival tactic that you need to implement in order to really win in this game.
Yeah, like I said, love it, and like you said earlier, the way that you go into the next cover, you look at it, and it just says you hold X, and the way that you move the fastest, safest route to that area while ducking.
Right.
So that it's very lovely cover system, and I can't wait to play with it more in the future when the game's released.
Yeah, definitely. And I also enjoyed messing around with all the different stuff in the game, and you can customize a lot. So there are guns and like a ton, five, I think there are 5 or 6 different aspects you can change about your gun. So the barrel, the scope, the handle, the magazine, the stock, maybe stuff like that. There's also perks, there's also abilities, and there's clothing for your character. So your character can look different from everyone else. You can pick up hats, I think sunglasses and vest and pants and shoes, I think. So there's a lot of really good customization aspects to this game to make sure you stand out and you can play your character the way you want to play it, which is really nice.
Yeah, and most of the stuff is cosmetic, as in it's not going to change your gear, like your coat. It's not going to change how much armor you have on your shoulder pads or how much armor you have on your vest. So your hat's not going to change any of the gear. So literally, you pick what you want to look like without affecting your gear to an extent. Of course, some of the gear is going to have color changes, whatever, look a little bit different. But the customization with most of the clothing is cosmetic, and it does not affect you, which I totally agree with.
Yeah, definitely.
And of course, this game is a very good game, but it does have some flaws. This is the beta. This can be fixed, and this can get more elaborate with how they develop it and whatever. Things that we didn't like was the map was really hard to read sometimes, with a lot of things in the corner saying, "Hey, this is a bad area. You can't be here," or something like that, contaminated area. But then it'll pop away. They're just random things that are there, and then it's really hard to figure out where on the map you're supposed to be going if you have a waypoint there. Like, how do you get there? It's very
Right.
hard to tell.
Yeah, yeah, and I found myself sometimes not really sure about what I should be doing. The missions, there was only one story mission you could really do in the beta, which is understandable, I guess, but at the same time, after that point, I wasn't really sure what else to do. Eventually, we'll get into the Dark Zone talk, but after we finished the story missions, I didn't really know what to do, and the game doesn't really tell you a whole lot. You have to figure it out. We were going onto the internet to look up some things on where we should go and be directed in the right direction, but yeah, they could be more clear on what we need to be doing in the game.
Yeah, that's definitely for sure. And then I guess we'll hop right into the Dark Zone as our last basically segment here. The Dark Zone, so much potential in the Dark Zone. When
Right.
I heard about it, I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is gonna be great." When I played it, I'm like, "Oh my goodness, this is gonna be great." But then when I'm in it, I'm like, "What am I doing?"
Yeah.
That there's no direction whatsoever. The enemies are very very sparse. It
Hmm.
there's no mission that you necessarily have to be doing, and there's just not much that they have. Of course, this is the beta, so this could all change. But as far as what we played, we really didn't know what we were doing in there.
Yeah, yeah, I thought I saw a mission icon in the dark zone. I thought we were going to it, but then it disappeared once we got in there. So when we got in, we were running around. There were a few high-level AI coming around, and they gave us some stuff. And we saw other players going around. And in the dark zone, you can start attacking those other players and kill them and loot them. So that's where you get some really high gear sometimes. But if you do that randomly, you're going to be marked as rogue, and everyone else is going to attack you. So you don't want to do that, but at the same time, the game is kind of putting you in a position to fight other players. So it's kind of forcing you to go and do PvP, but it's not really telling you how. There were a bunch of fights that we saw happen and we joined in on, but we don't really know how those got started or how we can avoid being rogue. You really don't want to be rogue, so that was an issue.
Yeah, that's the thing. If nobody wants to be rogue, then how do you ever get that high level gear?
Right.
And it's just very very complex on how you're supposed to figure this stuff out. Maybe we're stupid, but I have no idea. The PvP definitely felt forced, and
Right.
I wanted items. So yeah, I tried to kill some people, obviously, and it just never ended good. I killed one person. There's like 6 people around me, and then I'm screwed.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
it's very very hard to figure out how you're supposed to get that.
Yeah, but like you were saying, this is just the beta. I did enjoy our time in the dark zone a lot, mainly because you really need to be in a group when you go in the dark zone. And you do that, you work together, you're fighting other people, and you can get rewarded very highly for it. So it's a lot of fun in the dark zone still. It just needs to be more clear, and I look forward to playing more of it when the full game comes out, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. The high risk, high reward kind of aspect, as in if you don't know already, when you're in the dark zone, you get your materials, you get your items from these AI or other players, but you don't keep those items and you can't equip those items until they're extracted. And when you make an extraction zone, it takes a minute, 30 seconds or something like that.
Right, yep.
And so you have to wait there until it comes down, then you put your items on there. And then that's how you secure your items. If you die there, you lose all the items that you collected in the dark zone. So high risk, high reward. Very, very clever idea, unique idea. I don't think I've seen anything like this necessarily, where
Hmm.
it's such a high risk, high reward. And this is how you get the top level gear, is what they're saying. So if you want to have the best gear in the game, you have to start doing the dark zone. So you have to take this risk. So people could get frustrated.
Yeah, they could be, but of course, it leads to a lot of fun for the other people who are winning. So we'll see.
Like we said, this game has so much potential. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, looks like I'll see you in the future in Manhattan, Mark.
See ya.